able to get better. And we think that that's why companies will actually provide raw hard facts in order to do that. What they will use is first, they will use information from drug trials, for example, graphs about success rates, for example, how many are actually benefited from it and how effective it is. And we think that this can actually be done in that limited time span. But more so, for example, they will show certification from certain bodies like the Food and Drug Association, or for example, certification from other boards that this has actually done through quality control, and this actually has provided benefits in the past. More so, they can also provide information, for example, about how common their drug is. For example, it has to be used at several hospitals, for example, and have shown that these people have actually gone through, for example, speedy recovery from their diseases. So we think that they have to provide sufficient information from this advertising to counter the limited information, good information coming from the doctors, and we think that this is better under our sector. But how will this actually create better competition and better drug trade? Because we think that inside drug companies, what we have is two divisions. For example, first the marketing division with the business interest and research and development divisions, which represents the scientific interest. And in the marketing and business interest, we realize that in the markets, for example, we have TV and newspapers, and when the marketing and business interests realize that there are different drugs with equal success rates which are advertised at lower price, what they will do is that they will have a significant interest in order to maintain their market share, for example, in order to still maintain the relevant amount of profits. So what they will do is that they will actually communicate to the research and division department, actually tell them, try to make drugs with better success rates, for example, with higher efficacy, and with better, being able to heal the people better at lower cost, in order for us to provide them at lower prices. So what will we get is actually better drugs at lower prices that will actually be beneficial for the consumers at the end of the day. And we think that this competition will actually only be achieved when there's actually different advertising, when information is free and available for everyone inside the companies to know. So what you will get from the government is a severe limitation on the free information and good information coming from doctors. But what you get from the opposition is information about drugs that have a counterbalance. You have discussions with the doctors, and at the end of the day, you can even have better drugs at lower prices. So we think that patients should have this information, and we are very proud to oppose.
Did you notice one?
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Our side of the house questions the fact coming from this side of the house saying that the information coming from a profit-driven companies is more reliable compared to the information coming from doctors, but the incentives to ensure that these people are going to be healthy because they want to have image, they want to have more patients, then they're going to give the best diagnosis towards these people compared to companies whose interest is only to persuade people to buy the products advertised in television at the very end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. But after that, after saying that doctors are better and companies are good, they said it to us on how that it is better because it will trigger discussions with doctors, and they never stated to us on what actors that is actually good in their side of the house, because they keep on saying that companies is good, but after that they said it to us that companies is bad, ladies and gentlemen. There's no certain clarification coming from this side of the house because they keep on contradicting and making different stances regarding doctors and companies as the main actors in this debate, ladies and gentlemen. On first classes, I'm going to explain to you on the point of justification why it is okay for us to limit the freedom to those companies to give information and in advertisement regarding those kind of prescription drugs, ladies and gentlemen. They said it to us on how that a certain thing or a certain products can be banned or can be stopped from advertising themselves if it creates tangible harm in long-term effect, ladies and gentlemen. And they said it was on how that these prescription drugs, if it advertised, is not going to create tangible harms because the society is not going to believe in the advertisement at the very end of the day. We question this because if that's so, if the society does not believe to the advertisement, why would you debate and say that you want this kind of drugs to be advertised, ladies and gentlemen? Because they're not going to trust on the advertisement anyway, ladies and gentlemen. So we think that those points do not stand this debate. But moreover, we strongly believe on how that this kind of advertisement have a very big impact impact towards the society at the very end of the day. They stated to us on how that no, it is okay because we are going to have counter narratives and other people advertising other products, ladies and gentlemen. So at best, what you get is that the society that is not going to buy a certain prescription drugs, but is going to buy another prescription drugs that is advertised by another company. Because there are no any companies that is going to advertise the bad side effect of other products, ladies and gentlemen. So this is not the counter narrative value that we want to have at the very end of the day. But they still try to argue on how that it is still better to have those kind of other advertisements because they can claim that their product is the best and it would help people. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone can claim that their product is the best, but moreover, when they're claiming that their product is the best prescription drug that they currently have in the status quo, there is no explanation whether or not it's the best of all medicines product or the best products that compared to the previous product that they have produced, ladies and gentlemen. So that then the claim of those products is the best is not going to help you to decide which drugs is best for you, ladies and gentlemen. You need to go to the doctor and listen to the information given from the doctors that are professional to begin with, ladies and gentlemen. But moreover, the likelihood of these people to believe in those kind of advertisements is very big, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because there is a certain existing stigma that people believe prescription drugs have bigger dose and it is going to be even more helpful to your sickness compared to usual drugs that is sold in those kind of drugstore, ladies and gentlemen. Because there is a certain stigma who believes that the existence of prescription drugs that are given by a doctor is the most effective drugs because they have higher dose, for example, to actually cure your problem, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the reason why we think that the likelihood for these people to believe on those kind of advertisements is very big. Moreover, this advertisement only portray those kind of things that is emotionally driven, ladies and gentlemen. For example, they portray family that are happy if you're using this kind of products. For example, that if you buy a certain television, you're going to have your family, for example, watching together, so on and so forth. And it also happens in the case of prescription drugs. So they're going to portray a happy and healthy family just because you actually consume a certain prescription drugs that you do not actually need, ladies and gentlemen. That's the reason why we think that those advertisements is going to be so harmful to the society on how it is going to create a certain mindset that can actually give tangible harm towards the society, ladies and gentlemen. That is the reason why we did their point saying on how that the true information can be accessible towards companies who is making advertisement is not going to stand in this debate, especially because our side of the house has claimed to you on how that this advertisement is those kind of advertisement that is not going to give information. They stated to us on how that we need this information because when the people want to make decisions, they need information, ladies and gentlemen. The problem is that the information existing in this advertisement is not the advertisement that is good to begin with for you to be able to make decisions. Why? Because our side has proven to you on how that these advertisement is emotional driven. For example, if only 15 or 30 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, and it does not portray any side effect that could be very harmful for you in the future, ladies and gentlemen. It only actually portrays the benefits of having this kind of drugs and so on and so forth. We don't think that this kind of information is not that kind of information that can make you able to decide what drugs that should be got by you at the very end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. That's the reason why we don't think that the existence of advertisement should be there at the very first place, ladies and gentlemen. But moreover, we have also said it to you on how that we have argued to you that you do not need to know everything because you are not able to analyze every single information that you have, ladies and gentlemen. You should not let those companies to shape the mindset and the stigma of people that even if you only got flu or even if you just got cold, ladies and gentlemen, you need to take a very heavy drugs with a very high dose just because you want to be healthy at the very end of the day. That's the reason why we think it is justifiable for us to limit this kind of information because those information are not the information that is good to begin with. But second of all, on what tangible harms that is going to be caused by this kind of medicine. Before that, yes.
Why not ban all ads then if all of them creates unnecessary urgency? That's okay because if they do not get the letter, they're not going to experience all the harms that you characterize anyways.
The problem is that, sir, in the case of prescription drug, exactly because you understand that those kind of advertisements would actually give tangible harm and could actually give so much impact to our society, we think that we can only ban this kind of prescription drugs because we actually have people that can be trusted more, which is the doctor and the analyze and the diagnose, but you choose to trust the advertisement to begin with, ladies and gentlemen. No, but second, on how what tangible harm that is going to be caused by this kind of advertisement to begin with. We think that it's very harmful on how that they said to us that we are going to have better discussion and so on and so forth. First of all, to have a better discussion, you need to have first knowledge to analyze the information, or at least second, the experience using those medicines and how did the medicine actually affect your life. These people involving in discussion do not have the knowledge to analyze or to have good discussion, and moreover, most of them even do not have the experience of using this kind of medicine that they can give tangible and good information towards the discussion. So that's not the discussion that we want to have at the the very end of the day. But moreover, we also see cases on how that when they are not satisfied with good doctors who give them the real diagnosis, they're going to find other doctors who give them a better diagnosis, a diagnosis that they think is good, because they are going to recommend those kind of advertised products at the end of the day. At the end of the day, when they come to other doctors that by any chance, for example, give you bad diagnosis, and at the end of the day recommend this kind of advertised medicine, these people are more likely to trust these doctors even if the diagnosis is not true, and they are not going to believe in the real doctors who give you true and right diagnosis at the end of the day, because the diagnosis that is given by the doctor is not the diagnosis that they expect to have, that they do not recommend the medicine that you want to have as gentlemen. Because there are always cases when doctors believe those advertisements, because first, they think that because it is advertised that it must be checked, and second, even in some advertisement they put professional doctor to endorse this kind of medicine, ladies and gentlemen. That's the reason why we don't think that we need to have those kind of advertisement or prescription drugs to begin with, because it's harmful not only to the society, but only to everyone involved in this business. We are very proud to propose.
Maaf saran ini yang mati tiba-tiba.
Apanya? Apanya yang mati?
Iya, maksudnya maaf ada dinding. Oh.
What's happening? Itu lo bel-belin sendiri.
Iya.
Oh.
Within my speech, I'm going to prove to you two things. First, on whether this will lead into a better medicinal process and drug development, and second, whether companies do have the right to advertise these drugs. First, let's start with the better medicinal process and drug development. They try to challenge our characterization, they try to promote how companies are profit-oriented and doctors are good and educated. We think that such characterization is far one-dimensional. Here is the realistic characterization. In the world that we have today, there is a lot of backdoor deals happening inside hospitals, and how there are backdoor deals happening from these medicinal companies toward these doctors. What do these medicinal companies do? They give these doctors commission, assuming these doctors use their products. They give privileges toward these doctors, like cars. They provide money for these doctors to have their PhD. In other words, they make these doctors having something over these medicinal companies. That's why these doctors right now will use these medicines coming from these companies. We will concede to you that these medicines might not kill you, but this does not necessarily mean that these medicines are not bad. Why so? Because there are often cases on how doctors prescribe certain medicine coming from these companies, even though such medicine is not needed, or there are another more effective medicine that might be cheaper. What we're talking about? For example, we're talking about the likes of vitamins that Greg spoke on how doctors choose to give the kind of medicine that will also destroy not only the virus inside your body, but also the antibody, resulting in your body becoming weaker, and resulting with the doctor now prescribing you another vitamin coming from these companies in order to strengthen your body. These are the kind of things that these companies are doing. No, not only that, we're also talking about how these doctors might choose to prescribe a certain medicine divided into several types of medicine, in all for the sake of you coming back to the hospital so that they can acquire more profit. For example, in the case of paracetamol, and how they choose to separate paracetamol into several different medicines, several different capsules, for the sake of you paying more, so that these companies will further profit more, so that you will have also another coming toward the hospital. Also, we're talking about the likes of allergy, right? When you, for example, if you have an allergy toward penicillin, for example, then you must now have another kind of product, another kind of medicine. It's not necessarily the best kind of medicine, because now doctor can always say, look, you have an allergy to penicillium, and I'm now offering you the best kind of medicine. Now, these are the kind of factor deal, and these are the kind of implication that will happen inside the medicinal process. So, what do we provide to you? We provide to you advertisement. And what will this advertisement give? These advertisements will at the very least give you knowledge. For example, if Pfizer, for example, give you a certain method to combat HIV, to at the risk curb HIV, then there can be another advertisement on prophylaxis, which is a pill that you insert into your body to curb the spreading of the HIV virus. So what this will give to you right now is a diverse range of options. It will equip you with the knowledge that at the very least there is another kind of potential medicine out there that when the doctor actually gives you certain medicinal process is far too expensive and you kind of doubt what is the impact, then you can talk about how there is another potential medicine and you can demand the doctor, why is it that I am not given those medicine? We will concede that these people might not have 12 years of experience, but at the very least, even though they cannot directly comprehend, we think that with the amount of access we will have and the amount of information within those ads after this, we think that what will happen is that at the very least these people will have the knowledge to ask about the doctor, to demand a discussion, and the doctor can now justify his action, and the doctor can now explain why is it that they give this certain product. And if that explanation is not satisfactory, then these people can demand for a different thing. Yes?
The discussion that happens on your side does not question why you shouldn't use prescription drugs, but you'd most likely have discussion why I don't use prescription drug A as opposed to drug prescription B, which is most likely comes to a competition between drug makers, not necessarily making them feel better about using that prescription drug per se.
We think such competition is okay, ladies and gentlemen, because at the very least, if there are two kinds of prescription drug, at the very least, then the doctor inside the backdoor deal will not only use one prescription drug, there's not pay for for these individuals. At the very least, we give you a diverse range of option. Then they talk about the fixes, right? On how there is currently this idea that this will fix everything. No, we need to remember that these ads need to be as accurate as possible, because if it does not, then there will be no one who want to buy this. The reason why Crotches sold by Pfizer is actually famous and not by many is exactly